Warning, this video contains a dead animal and the butchering of that animal. If you do not want to see that, then please exit the video now. We look forward to you returning next week and watching. Hey y'all, this morning while I was making breakfast, I saw outside the window that there was a deer on the side of the road by our house. So Daniel went and moved it, and we're gonna see if we can get our chickens to eat it. That might sound a little crazy, but in the wintertime, if chickens don't get enough protein, they'll cannibalize. And there are some farmers out there that will feed their chickens roadkill because that's free food. And so I'm gonna see if I could get the girls to eat this deer. If they don't, then we're just gonna wind up, I guess, throwing it out in a field. So if you're squeamish, you probably don't want to watch this. The deer, I don't know what time the deer was killed, but we have a sensor on our driveway, and it was going off this morning. Daniel thought he saw like a baby cub, a bear, and now it makes sense why it just kept going off over and over and over this morning. It's because all the animals that were coming for this deer. So let's get to it. Alright, so I have two knives. I have a filleting knife and I have more of a hunting knife. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut the deer open and pretend to be a chicken and like use a stick or my finger and peck at it to encourage the other birds to go ahead and peck at it and try it out. So here I am, 6 months pregnant, butchering a dead animal that was hit by a car. And this was actually my idea. I kind of begged Daniel to not just put the deer out into the field for the vultures to eat. I really wanted to get some experience. I have a couple people in the neighborhood that I've been talking to about learning how to break down and butcher deer so that I can hunt on our land and we can eat deer that we hunt here. But I haven't had any experience till now on, you know, removing the skin and just what all that takes. Alright, so I cut off a piece here. It's okay, Junior. Go ahead. It helps the chickens are attracted to the color red, so with the blood, they're going to be attracted to peck at it and check it out. So as long as I cut it up, it seems like they'll eat it. I want to get them to come and peck on the actual carcass here so I don't have to spend all day cutting this thing up. It was not smelly. The smell did not bother me at all, and I have a very sensitive nose. So that was great. I did puncture, I forgot the term for it, but I punctured the area that the deer breaks down the grass that it grazes on, and that did have a smell, but it didn't bother me. It kind of reminded me of like horse manure. I've never butchered a deer or any animal before. I know you remove the guts and then you take the hide off. This thing weighs over 100 pounds. I don't really have a way to hang it, so the flies are setting in. I'm gonna try to get the skin off and then have the meat exposed. And I guess this is good practice for one day when I do butcher, because while I'm doing it not correctly right now, I'm getting experience with how the anatomy and all the parts of the deer work. Alright, all the chickens have figured out this is food. I've been cutting off chunks and tossing them to the birds. Now I just want to get them to pick off the carcass. So this is about the time of year when chickens that are over a year old begin to molt. That is that they lose their feathers and produce new feathers. Feathers are made predominantly of protein, so during this time the chickens stop laying. And they get looking pretty ratty as they're losing all their feathers. So by feeding the birds protein, extra protein, this helps them to go through the molting process with enough protein and get them back to producing eggs. Now our chickens that we purchased as chicks earlier this year, they only just started laying eggs and they won't molt this year. So they will lay while the older birds are molting, and they'll lay eggs through the winter. And at this time, we want to make sure that they have enough protein because each egg that they produce takes more protein from their body. So it's a great time to be upping the protein intake, even though it's not quite yet winter time. So after I saw that the birds weren't really going to pick at this carcass, Daniel came, he got some hands-on practice, and he did some skinning, and he actually removed one of the legs of the deer. And when he was done, we put it back in the wagon, and Daniel took it out to the field that the cows are no longer in at the moment, and we put it out there. About 2.5 hours later, the vultures had pretty much picked it down to the bone, which we were pretty impressed with how quick they were to break it down. So anyways, this is probably not your typical content that you will find online, but you know, I think it's something worth sharing, and I hope you guys learned something out of it. Thank y'all for watching, and down in the description I do have the knife that I use. It's only $15, and it was the fillet knife, and we use this knife also for dispatching our girls when their time is ended on the farm.